Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday night. That means it's time for another edition of SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. My name is Craig Smolders, joined as always by Rob Young. Rob, how are you tonight?
Really good, Craig. And you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I mean, I could be better if we could get rid of some of this wet, disgusting, gross weather that kind of has held back. But somehow we'll manage. We'll work through it, and we will eventually get out there and start our season. But for sure, you know, we just have to make the calls at the right time and hope for that people understand it. Our hands are kind of tied. We do our best, but we are going to get out there eventually. We are going to have our opening weekend, I should say, and we're going to make it really special. That's what we want to do. We don't want to get out there and you know, have people come out there for no reason and then have to leave, or worse, get stuck in the pits and that kind of stuff. So it's a juggling act, and I apologize to all the fans and the drivers. We really are doing our best, and we will get there eventually. How's things with you, Rob? What's going on? What's new and exciting? How's everything?
Well, you know what? It's the same every year as far as the spring is concerned. It's very unpredictable. But the worst thing that can happen is when you get to the racetrack and rain comes in, you got to pack everything up and go back home. It's not so bad when you don't when you leave everything at home and races are canceled. Sure, it's a bummer, but I know that the day to race will come, and hopefully it'll be this weekend coming up. So other than that, yeah, I'm geared up and ready to get to work at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway as a competition director. So we'll just see how it goes.
Excellent. Well, tonight we're going to be joined by the driver of the 28K mini mod. That's going to be Caleb Balleri. He's going to jump on here in a second and have a conversation with us. But before I get to that, there is a couple of things that I want to talk to you about. First of all, the Junior Fan Club drivers. We are still looking for drivers for the Junior Fan Club. The kids are very important to us. That's who's going to be coming up to, take over after you guys are retiring or whatever. So get in there, get involved in that, and reach out to Lauren Bonner or look up the Junior Fan Club on Facebook, and there's some posts in there and stuff you can comment to get involved in that. The other thing we're doing is Retro Fest. That's actually going to be this Saturday, May 28th. Retro Fest, that's going to be in Chatham. We're going to be set up there for most of the day. There's a spot that they have where we're going so that the drivers can exit if they need to leave to get to the racetrack or whatever. So if you want to get involved in that, reach out to me and I can get you all set up for that and then give you all the details. Now, let's get on to this interview. Let's have a little chat with Caleb. There he is. Hello, Caleb.
How's it going, fellas?
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. How you guys doing?
Wonderful. How's everything?
Keeping busy, doing whatever.
Good. You got to get while
everything's going all right.
Yeah. I was going to ask if you got the car, getting the car ready, but I should say, do you have the car ready and you're just waiting for us to be able to open up and come out and get things going, right?
Oh no, yeah, everything's ready to go here. We've had lots of time to get everything ready, so everything's ready to go here. We got both cars ready to go. We got our Delaware car that's been out to Delaware already racing, and we've been nice and busy keeping cars ready. And we ended up actually almost having a Derby car ready to go for the Derby demolition there. When we seen that the rain was coming, we thought we'd get a car ready to go. So we actually got really close to almost going Derbying on Saturday too, but we weren't able to get out there for the Derby. But that's weather permitting. Hopefully we get out there this weekend, but we're all ready to go. So hopefully we'll see you guys this weekend. But
awesome. Rob, do you have any questions you want to start with before we get going here?
Well, so you said you're getting the cars ready, Caleb. I know you've got the 28 mini mod that you drive, and Tate has he's got I think it's a not a sportsman car. It's a super stock from Delaware, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, we got the this year for cars we have the 28K mini mod, the 28K modified, and then Tate's gonna have a 28K super stock. That race out at Delaware there every once in a while. There's Delaware has a different schedule. They do every other week, sometimes with different divisions. They have other weeks off. So this week they had it off, but they'll be back at it this Friday at Delaware with the super stock. So Tate will be out there. We're hoping maybe we'll get him practice tomorrow night, hopefully, but we'll see what happens. We're thinking about going out, getting the modified out to Maryville tomorrow, but I think we're going to get that Delaware out there and hopefully get her nice and kicking for this Friday.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm ready to go here. Are you ready to go back through your memory and tell the fans some stories? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, my memory's kind of all right, so hopefully it's good enough for the fans. But who knows? We'll see what happens. Depends on the questions.
Well, they're not too tough. They're definitely not too tough. We keep it pretty light here. It's just a conversation, and we'll just have some fun with it.
Oh
So
yeah,
I guess
I'm just happy that Jake Hooker didn't go last week, because that'd be some big boots to fill right there.
well, we'll get Jake on here eventually, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
So I guess the first thing I want to know is, growing up, were you always into racing? Did you do some other sports, maybe some hockey and baseball or something else, or was it always racing for you?
Well, I've had some pretty great parents, so I've done a lot. Like, I mean, a lot. I started playing hockey before I can even remember. Same with football. I think I started playing football when I was maybe 7. Hockey, maybe even younger than that. So I've been doing hockey and football since I can remember. I did baseball a lot when I was younger. Did lacrosse, soccer. When I got to high school, I did a lot of. I did Tate and I joked around, did badminton. We played football together for years. We did played hockey together even once in a while. We did badminton, track and field together. We actually went to Swassa for the 4x100 relay. And if you looked at Tate and I on the street, you wouldn't think that we ran track and field, but we were able to get to Swassa somehow. I think a few guys got disqualified along the way, but the 2 heaviest guys on the track somehow made it to the finish line first. A couple other guys, but that's so yeah. So we did a lot of sports when we were younger. I even did curling in high school too, just something to do, have fun. What the heck? And we actually in high school we ended up winning the Swassa or the Lakessa championship 3 years in a row for Wallsburg High School. So played a lot of football. I used to come be on the field the whole entire time. Played a lot of football there, and just a lot of stick and ball sports when I was a kid. I've always been kind of into racing too. My dad did a lot of he did Delaware when he was younger, back in the 90s, early 2000s, with the Cathcart trucks and the Enduros and stuff, and he got big into derbies. So I remember being mesmerized by the derbies and the tractor pulls even too. Him and his buddies were in the tractor pulls. So just a little kid, I loved watching the derbies and the tractor pulls. So I'm happy that they're coming back this year to go watch those. But kind of got into that. Didn't really get to watch my dad do Delaware a lot when we were younger, but our neighbor got into it, so we used to go watch him at Josh Lucia and Damien Grove, go watch them every once in a while at Delaware. And then Dad actually grew up with Brad Simpson in the late models now, and we actually ended up used to going out watching him in the modifieds back way when now. So I remember being Brad Simpson out there along with Jim Dale Jr.'s car. Always caught my eye too because he had the SpongeBob and all that on there. So I always used to be rooting for Brad Simpson and Jim Dale out there because they always just caught my eye. But I was always into those, and then we ended up getting into go-karts, and it just kind of steps kept going and going until now we're racing at SOMS there. So I guess hopefully I just keep on leading upward, but we'll see.
Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
So, Caleb, as far as hockey was concerned, you told me you were a goalie. Now, I'm going to guess you're probably, 6'1", 6'2". You're a pretty big guy. I imagine you're pretty hard to score on. So were you always a goalie?
I played goalie since I can remember. I loved playing goalie. I play forward once in a little while here and there, and I loved playing forward too, but I followed in Dad's footsteps. He played goalie there for a while, so I kind of got into playing goalie, and I honestly loved it. I know a lot of people say goalies are crazy, but I mean, I wasn't the best goalie, but I was fairly decent. I like to keep the pucks out of the net, but it all depends. I used to get a lot of shots there. I'd be getting probably almost 30, 40 shots at least most nights, so I was decent, but I was a lot more of an old school goalie. A lot of people would laugh at me when I would be in there because nowadays goalies, they like to stay in the crease, where I like to kind of creep up to the hash marks there and I used to like to use the poke checks and the double pad stack because I was big enough. I take up enough of the net there. But yeah, I'm about 6'1", 280, so I'm a big fella, so it kind of helped out a little bit once you put some pads on you. But wasn't always big too. I was kind of, when I was younger, I was still fairly big, but I was wasn't as quick now as I am back then.
And you said that you also, as far as football is concerned, I'm picturing you as more of a linebacker, but you said you played a lot of different positions, a lot of special teams, and you played for St. Clair College. You indicated that, man, you had sometimes 5 practices a week. That's a lot of time on the road between home and practicing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, no, I can't thank my dad and Tate and Dan O'Neill and a lot of our crew, and even my girlfriend Alex too, for all the help that they gave me last year. I've played for St. Clair College for the past 2 years now, for the St. Clair Fratmen. They were the Windsor AKO Fratmen, but then during the pandemic they got bought out and they ended up becoming the team for the college. So I was actually able to play for the team without going to college because it's in its own division and not in a college league. So I loved playing there. I've loved football ever since I was a kid. I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so I love football with everything I have. And it's I was very thankful to be able to play for as long as I did. And I can't thank my support system enough for letting me play last year, because it was a lot. That's with 4 or 5 practices a week and your games on the weekends. It was a lot sometimes having to go. I work full-time for Community Living Wallaceburg as well, so that keeps me very busy. I love my job, and I can't thank them enough, but I've done a lot at work, so some days I go and get done work, and I jump in the car and head up to Windsor, and by the time I get done football, I'm getting home, and I'm already in bed for work the next day. So last year was definitely a tough year, but I can't thank the family enough for helping me get that car going for last year. But football is amazing. We had a great season last year, and within the year before, I played there for the past 2 years, but I played offensive or defensive line for St. Clair Fratman there, and I loved playing linebacker. In my grade 11 year, I kind of slimmed up a little bit, so they threw me in at linebacker when I was in high school, and I played linebacker for the last 3 years, and I absolutely loved it. I won Defensive Player of the Year and MVP and all that when I was playing linebacker, and I absolutely loved it. We went to Chicago and played down there for a bit, and I had a blast down there. I talked to a few people here and there, and I wanted to go play in the States, but it just wasn't possible, and I thought it's nothing I could pursue. I love racing too, so I just didn't want to give that up. I played linebacker back in high school along with the offensive line and special teams, and then once we got to St. Clair, they called me up and told me they wanted me to play defensive line, and I made it work. Was able to play out there, and we ended up going undefeated during the season, and then we got to the all the way to the championships. Played the London Beefeaters, and sadly lost 15-14 within the last 30 seconds of the game. So it was a heartbreaker last year, but it is what it is. They rebuild and keep on moving, but that's life. But I definitely loved playing football there, that's for sure.
Cool. Well, there you go, Craig. I'll turn it back to you.
Alrighty, so we're gonna bring her back to racing here. It's awesome that you love football. I mean, football is a fun sport, and just out of curiosity, were you successful? Did you win any championships or going into any big games or anything like that? Or
during my high school football there, I played there all 5 years of my high school. I went back for my grade 13 so I could go to Chicago. And so we won my grade 11, grade 12, and grade 13 year. We won the La Cesta championships. And I had an absolutely amazing time back then. I played offensive line, defensive line, mostly linebacker, but once in a while they'd throw me on the line. And then I played all the special teams. So most of the time I never came off the field. But then I had a great time then. But we won 3 La Cesta championships. We went to Swausea all 3 years and lost all 3 years, so that was a heartbreaker there. I'm no stranger to losing the championships, but well, hopefully not in racing. We're going to change it around in racing, but my football career and championships haven't had a very good luck there, but hopefully we'll start turning on the championship streak around here soon.
all right, so let's get into racing. Since you mentioned it, we might as well talk about it. I guess you started your racing career in 2012. You did some go-kart racing. Talk about your go-kart racing, how that went for you, and how it all came about to get up in the go-kart track.
It kind of all, everything was different. Like we started out with the soapbox cars and the lawnmowers, and that was kind of all that led up to getting to the go-karts. And so with the soapbox, Dad was very much into it, and we've always been into it too. Tate and I helping put on the shows the past few years. And so I did soapbox for years. Didn't really get to do it. I think I did it till I was about 13, maybe a little older, probably almost 14 or 15. But I couldn't keep going because I'm just too big to fit in the carts now. But with the go-karts, we did go-karts for just 1 year there. And there's the cars there. They look pretty good. Tate and I actually had a little fight there after Dennis Smith, not Dennis Smith. He he went down and got the carts for us, and so he brought him back up. And Tate, like he said, the last interview, we had a little fight because he got the one with the wing on it there, and I actually had the one with the flames there. That actually had a. I think we did 2 years actually in go-karts. We did 1 year at Fog, and then we did the next year at 5150. But then the orange one there, it actually came with the roll cage. So I was kind of worried that I was going to get stuck with the roll cage because it made me feel like maybe Dad thought I was a little special and might take her for a tumble there. But never rolled the go-kart, so that's good. But no, yeah, so that was the karts there. We did 1 year at Fog there, 1 year at 5150. Met a lot of cool people that year. That was a great experience to get into racing. We were able to meet like the Smolders family, the Lanews. We met the Hookers. We've known the Hookers for long before that too, though, through Dad. But got to race against Jake. That's the first year I got to race against him. I even raced against Austin Pickering then, Nick Glassford, a lot of guys that have been out racing here and there now. So a lot of people that have come up starting racing at SOMS there have come through those go-karts. So it's kind of cool to see a lot of people I used to race against back out there racing again. So, but yeah, so that was the go-karts. I had a blast racing them. And same with, we also did the lawnmower racing. Don't have any picture of those. Those are buried in the shed somewhere, but we had a blast running those. I think we went 1, 2, 3 in the points championship 1 year. And of course I beat Tate for once in my life that year. But of course, with the John Deere too, I always give Tate a hard time that John Deere beats Case any day. So we did that. We had our own little division. There's only maybe 3 or 4 of us out there every night at the fairs. But so that's what kind of got me into racing there was the soapbox cars, which we still help with once in a while at all the fairs down here. And then we did the lawnmowers, and then the go-karts were definitely a really cool experience there. Those were our first karts, and then the same karts, we put new bodies on the next year thanks to the Smolders for that. We both had late model styles on ours, so they looked pretty cool. We thought we were looking like fancy guys out there with the late models. Thought we were out at Buxton back in the day.
All that glitz and glamour. Were you successful in your go-kart racing? Did you win a championship? Lots of races, lots of features. How'd you make out at the go-karts?
Yeah, I never really won a whole lot of features. I was kind of always up there and probably in the top 3 once in a while. We just had the old box stock motors on them. Not much do they have that now, but we just had little box stocks on it from Princess Auto, and then you go and blow one up, and then you just go and put it back in the box, bring it to Princess Auto, and they give you a brand new one, and there you go racing again next weekend. It's actually a funny story. I just thought of it, the 00 there. I actually wanted to be 01 that year because I had the orange, and I'm like, I kind of want to be like the General Lee out here, so I wanted to be 01, and then another guy ended up wanting to be 01, and we ended up kind of deciding that since he was older by I think he was older than me by about a month. So he got to be the 01. So I went 00. So Tate and I were the lowest number and the highest number on the track. So, but no, I want to say I got 3rd overall in points the year that we did 5150. Sadly, we weren't able to complete the whole season there. We missed one the last night there because my mom passed away, sadly, that year of 2012, our last year of go-karts. As well, my grandpa passed away that same year, and that was definitely a tough year for us. And it was a big thank you also. A guy that really helped out that year for me was my old football coach, Cesar Torres. I was playing Cougars football back then, too. I did that a lot, played Champion Cougars, taped it as well. And so I actually tried out for the team, and it was the first year I did travel football. And the coach, I had to miss a couple practices because my grandpa passed away from cancer. And he ended up actually giving me a call after the funeral one day and told me that he wanted me to be the team captain. And that really definitely helped me get through that year. There was him kind of being by my side and helping me and going through my first year of Cougars. But that was definitely a tough year through that. We did had a lot going on there after Mom passed away, and Dad really stepped up and helped us keep on going from there on. And that's every time I look at this picture, I actually really think of my mom because she's the one that gave us those blonde mohawks, and she probably even I think we had those because we were playing lacrosse and we made it to provincials that year too. So that's where we had a very big, a lot of years back then too. So I can't thank my parents, my mom and dad enough for getting us through all those sports back in the day and doing racing on top of that. Because I don't know how they would have been able to do that with that much going on the go with those 2 crazy rambunctious kids there.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to say I'm very sorry to hear about the loss of your mother and then your grandpa in the same year. I'm really sorry to hear that. I can't imagine having to go through something like that. And to you and your family and everything, I'm really sorry for that loss. Rob, do you have any questions?
Craig.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, I've known these boys, both Tate and Caleb, since probably not that age, but not long after that. I've watched them growing up, and they're fine young men. And those that are listening right now they probably saying, "Boy, I'll tell you, I bet you Caleb would make a great announcer." And funny enough, you should say that. He was our announcer for our endurance race and did a great job. But there's so many things you could do. Caleb, I know you've indicated you're a DSW disability support worker. That's what you do for Wallaceburg. But man, you're very talented. Not only for go-karts and stock cars and whatnot, but man, only 21 years old, and you carry yourself very well. I know that if we don't get a chance to talk about it, I know that you and I talked about Tate and how you're his big brother and you look after him, and it's part of your personality. You're a very caring person. But you mentioned to me that Tate is your has got your room and got some of your movies, and he watches them, and he wants you to come watch them with him. That's just a great story you shared with me, and I don't think that you'll share it with the general audience. So I'm going to tell them how good of a big brother you are, and I won't tell them that you bring them milk and cookies at night either. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, I'll turn it back over to Craig.
All right. So out of the
Thank you
go-kart,
for saying that, Rob.
Okay.
so out of the go-karts and into the bombers, I guess in 2014 you stepped up to or getting ready to step up to a big car anyway. How do you make that decision? What thought process do you go through that makes you decide that, you know what, I think I'm ready to do this. I'm going to take a shot at going out on the big track. Talk about that a little bit and how you come to that decision and you're ready to go.
Yeah, well, that's at that point kind of like we've been watching racing since we can remember, and Dad was really he was always there for us, and we were looking on Kijiji one year because that was before Facebook Marketplace got real big. So we were looking at Kijiji, and so the top car there, the 28 that was green and orange, we Dad seen it on the marketplace there online. And we ended up finding it on there for pretty dang cheap. So we're like, well, like, what the heck? Let's give it a shot. He kind of talked to me about it. And he's like, well, like, let's give it a shot. They got the bombers out there. So let's go kind of have fun, see if you like it. And I never really drove a lot of stick shift and stuff back then because we live on a farm there and we work on the farm all the time. And Tate and Dad were always the ones driving the tractors. And I was always kind of the muscle having to lift stuff and help everything else kind of I'd work on the house and in the shop and stuff. And so that's where I never really learned to drive stick. So we got that top car there, and a big thanks to our friend Craig Worsley, who's an amazing paint job guy there. He did the paint job on that car. That was a little after we lost our mom there. So we actually dedicated the paint job to her with the paw print Krista there because she was really big into dogs, and we've had a lot of dogs along the way. We used to rescue or foster dogs a lot, so we put the number on there, the 28, because that's also her birthday as well as her favorite race car driver, Swerve and Irvin. So we were big fans. She loved him a lot, and she was also a big Earnhardt fan. But we thought 28 really sat there with us, especially being her numbers or her birthday there. So we thought it was really great. So we did it. That was an amazing car. And then it was really cool. I never really caught on to the stick shift. I was really kind of having trouble with it. And so big thank you to Sherry and Gary LeMessurier when they had the track, because Dad talked to them and said, hey, you know what? We have a second car now. We were able to build that one down on the bottom. And we kind of personalized me a little bit with the football helmets because I was just such a big football fan. But then we talked to them and they said, you know what? You guys have raced go-karts. Let's give Tate a shot. So Tate ended up actually going out there when he was really young. And because I think I would have been about 13 at the time then, since I got a late birthday. So 2014, I was about 13, and Tate was about 11 out there. Or I think he would have been maybe 11 or 12. And he was out there, and that was pretty awesome year that year because he was able actually to win with that car. And I didn't have this best of luck. I ended up rolling that car on the bottom there once or twice. So I had a pretty fun time with that car. But I was always there chasing Tate, and we got a few cool pictures there of me and Tate in Victory Lane after he got his first race. But no, so that was the bomber year. That was pretty awesome to get into that. And big thank you for Dad to kind of helping us with that. Because at that point, it was really just the three of us. And that was really the year that we kind of meet a lot of people. Like we were able to meet Rob Young, who's we've really been able to look up to. He's been just an awesome guy that everybody really looks up to because he's such a nice guy. But a lot of people were there. We got to meet and a lot of nice people. And then as well as that was the year we met Michelle Mansell, who we almost see as like a mother figure to us. She's been so good and we love her a lot, and she's really helped us along the way. And so that's what that year was really imperative to our building blocks to going up into the more bigger cars. And it was definitely a lot different with how the track used to be for the Bombers just on the infield, but it was definitely cool to kind of go that way and kind of start stepping up. So that was really cool the first year Bombers, but that was just a stepping block, and it just kept getting better and better after that. But definitely a big thank you to Dad for getting me in there the first year Bombers, because never really had a whole lot of confidence. I was younger early in that kind of field. I was really shy and timid about it, and I was kind of a little worried, had a lot of butterflies, and Dad was able to talk me up into it, and I ended up kind of going along with it and ended up being really good, and had a blast out of the deal, and really kind of helped me keep growing as a race car driver and as a person. So it definitely helped me keep going from there.
Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
Well, because you're both you, Caleb and Tate, are part of a huge family of racing at the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. And I know you mentioned Michelle Mansell, which is John Reynolds' daughter, and also Elmira Garrett have taken you and Tate under their wings. And I'm always seeing them bringing you baked goods and doing all your sewing, and I think they even do some of your laundry there. But I'm very envious. I wish I was a lot nicer. Maybe I'd get some of them ladies to do my laundry and stuff too. But my hat's off to you guys. You're the type of people that people just want to be around, and you're both very personable. And as I said, you've gathered some of the ladies from the track that are willing to help you out wherever they can. So that's pretty cool. That's something that you earn. It's not something you go looking for. You've done something to earn the respect of all of the people there, and they just want to help you out. So I'm proud to know you guys, and I call you my friend. So I'll turn it back over to Craig and let him take it over.
All right, so that's your first year of Bombers. How was your first year? Were you successful, just kind of riding around, getting used to things? How'd you make out in your first year?
It was a big learning curve for me. It was interesting. I never really won a race my first year. I was kind of always I was always at least top 3, top 5 there. Back then it was a really competitive class though too. You had a lot of people out there. Like I think that year you had the Pickering was out there, Nick Glassford was out there, the Bonners, and there's a lot of people out there in that division, so it was definitely a very competitive class. And I was just kind of learning a little bit, getting my feet wet. And I never won a race that year, but I was definitely kind of in the mix there once in a while. But definitely had a fun year with that. But like Rob said too, though, there's been a lot of people that were helping me with that year. And it's definitely a big thank you to my 3 mothers there, we call them, because Kathy Hoekstra as well as been there along with Elmira. But that's hopefully Rob doesn't bring anything else up about the women that are track that help us, because he might get in trouble with his wife. So that's just wanted to put that out there to kind of save Rob there.
Thanks, Caleb. Kathy Hoekstra, I'm telling you, there's just so many ladies out there that are part of racing, that are there to kind of take the rough edges off. But I like all the ones that bring all the baked goods. I visit those trailers quite frequently. All right.
If you could see it right now, you'd be able to see that the cookies have hit me very well.
All right, so 2015, you stay in the Bomber class, but you change the paint scheme a little bit. Talk about your next year in the Bomber class and how that went for you.
So yeah, that's actually a pretty cool car. That's probably one of my favorite cars I've had. And it was really cool. And we actually ended up I just thought it. I'm like, you know what? That was actually the year. So yeah, Tate bought the mini mod that year. He moved up into the mini mods, and he bought that car off of Brett Hope. And what was actually really funny was this car actually came from another Hope and came from their brother. And so Sean Hope. So we actually had two Hope cars for the next 2 years after I moved into mini mods there too. But so I call this car the 13 karat gold because it took us 13 cans of spray paint to spray paint this thing gold. Because you can't really see, but I even did the interior in gold too, because I just thought, hey, what the heck? And we actually ended up winning best appearing car with this car too, which was pretty awesome. We were laughing about that. But so yeah, this was our best appearing car for the Bombers. I think I wanted to say I think I was in the top 3 for points with this car. I had a really awesome time. I won my first feature in this car. Finally got to hold the checker flag, and I'm a big Kyle Busch fan, so I really had to do the bow there. I thought that was kind of cool. But no, so that I definitely liked that car. It took us a lot of spray paint, but it looked up pretty cool in the end. And it's still sitting in the backyard actually, but that was definitely a cool car. I had a lot of fun with that car. But so yeah, that was my awesome ride there. What I call it, the 13 karat gold car there. So hopefully nobody copies that car in the future, because I might put a copyright on that.
Rob, do you have any questions about that?
13 cans of spray paint. I'm telling you, it looks like the whole car was dipped. You even painted the wheels and everything. That's a pretty cool car. But yeah, lots of good memories, and especially if you have them sitting in the backyard, you can look at them every now and again, and brings all that back, all those good times back. But anyway, go ahead, Craig.
All right. So now I guess the next year, 2016, you're going to change the class, or they cancel the Bombers or whatever happened there. So you move up the mini mods. Talk about how that went for you. Now you're going on to the big track. What kind of a learning curve was that, and how was that experience for you racing the mini mod?
The mini mod, that was pretty awesome. So that's, like I said, we end up going and buying Kyle Hope's car off of him after that year. He won the championship, and so he ended up selling the car to us. So we ended up just switching cars. Tate took Kyle Hope's car, and I jumped into Brett's there, and we just kept the same style that he ran the year before. And it was awesome. At this point, I was more comfortable driving stick shift, and I got more into the hang of it, and I did a lot better. And the mini mods, honestly, it's an amazing class. I really love it. It's a really fun time out there with those cars. And that year was really one of my learning curves with that division, because it's definitely a big jump going from the inside of that inside of the track up to the outside with those Bombers. So, and just in all, it's just a whole bunch of different, trying to learn the setups and everything else. And that year we had a lot of people come on and help us. Like Mike Legui started to help us that year, and really we couldn't thank Mike enough for that year for helping us with those and getting those motors going. And I really had a great time in that division. It was super fun. That's the top picture that really shows that I could barely see sometimes with how long my hair was. But I definitely had it was an amazing year. I really loved that mini mod. And then we ended up actually selling that car to Austin Pickering at the end of that year. But that year was really awesome. I think I had a really great year in that car, in my opinion. I think I got 10th in points that year, which it's a very competitive division. It was I think back then you had Pinsino in that division, McKenzie, the Joneses. Like, there was a lot of fast cars in that division, a lot of guys that have been moving up here and there. So it was definitely a tough division. So that's where I was pretty proud, because I was able to win. What did I win that year? I won I won 10th in points. I got Sportsman of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and Tate and I also won the Wayne Daniels Memorial Award, which was presented to us by Jeff Daniels from the track there. So it was really awesome. We had a really amazing year that year, and we couldn't be happy enough with how that year turned out, for sure.
Awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about any of that?
Yeah, it is quite an experience. Those are real race cars. The mini mods, lots of adjustments, more power, and with Mike's help on the engine and stuff like that. I'm sure you weren't lacking in the power department at all. But yeah, good looking cars. Yep, I'll turn it back over to you there, Craig.
All right, so we'll carry on with the mini mod. I guess you're going to stay on that for a little bit. Your second year, you keep going. How was your second year? You used to a little bit more, and just talk about going from your rookie year into learning. Coming into the next year after that.
Yeah, so no, I definitely learned a lot the next year here. So Tate moved up into the late models there, and it was a really cool experience. And we kind of both went our own ways there with different designs. That year we were with I think we went with Magnum Mark there over at Magnum Signs with our designs. And a big thank you to Brett Bonner. He actually did our designs that year. Collaborated with Magnum there. And that year I wanted to do something different, and I always kind of liked that old rusted car look with the muscle cars, and I kind of thought, let's give it a shot and see how it kind of looks with rust kind of red. And so I think it turned out pretty cool. It was definitely a little tougher to see on the track, and everybody thought it was dirty, and I just forgot to wash the car that week. But it was definitely, that was a really cool year, because I was a little bummed out that Tate left me in the division, and I was just on my own without him. But it was definitely, that was probably the year that I really kind of started to up my game in the mini mods and kind of get some more seat time in there and learn a lot more. And we had Mike Laguio's helping getting a lot that year with that motor and getting me nice and fast, and definitely wasn't lacking in the power department that year. And I was just having a lot of fun, and still it's a lot to learn with those cars. Like, you're learning setup and everything. Like, that's like Rob said too, when I came from the bombers up to the mini mods, you don't know what bite is or none of that fun stuff. And so like it was a lot of learning. We were scaling the cars and doing all that, and we ended up getting that car into a good spot. And I believe that year we were, I want to say, sixth in points that year. So we were slowly climbing up, getting up near the top and being a lot more competitive. So that year was definitely a good year, and I thought the car looked pretty awesome. But it was we had a really great year. That was a stacker we had in that year too. That was the first year we went to a stacker, and it definitely helped out having the two cars there for sure. But that's it. We just kind of kept on going upwards from there, and we had a really great year that year. And all in all, I think Tate had winning rookie of the year in the late models that year, which was super awesome to see. But I think that was a really great year in my opinion. But it just kept on going onward and upward in my opinion.
Awesome, Rob. Do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, regarding the stacker, I remember almost every time you turn around, Vic and the boys had a different hauler of some kind. It had that big 36-foot fifth wheel, and then the stacker, and now the toter home. And with all those cars, you got to keep up on the equipment too. But man, look where you are now. Just a couple of years, and big jump there. I think he was referring to the paint job as looking like a rat rod there. Looks pretty neat. Yep. It's always fun to come up with something different. I'll turn it back over to you, Craig.
All right. So Caleb, at some point here, you guys decide you want to try your hand at some asphalt racing. Talk about that a little bit, how that went for you, how it was it fun and completely different, obviously, but talk about some of the differences and the learning curve that it took to get to that point.
Yeah, so that was a totally different, like, asphalt. It's really awesome. It's props to anyone able to do that and get into it, because it's definitely a cool kind of setup to do. And we ended up actually racing those cars at Oswego as well. So we did a kind of a mix of those, and didn't race them much. I think I only raced that Monte Carlo about 3, maybe 4 times at most. And so I only got a little bit of seat time in that, and I think I only raced Delaware maybe once or twice, and it wasn't bad. I definitely enjoyed it. I've told people before, I think I belong on the dirt. I have a lot more fun on the dirt, but the asphalt, it's definitely like, you really got to be patient. You got to be really calculated with your corners and with when you're passing. And it's definitely a big learning curve with going from the dirt to the asphalt. And I think with that very car that year, I ended up actually doing a donut in 1 and 2 going not long after this picture probably. And I did a donut, and I was scared for my life because I thought I was going to get hit. And sure enough, did the whole donut, kept her going, and just pinned her, kept on going on the track like nothing happened. And that was kind of a very interesting experience for me there, but definitely had a fun time with that Monte Carlo and racing at Delaware there. But my highlight with that car was racing at Oswego with it, and it was such an amazing time. Like, if you ever get to go to Oswego on a Friday night with a Thunderstock, I definitely encourage it, because I had so much fun in that car that night. Like, you were almost 3-4 wide sometimes in that car, bumper to bumper, and you're just kind of holding on for dear life, just seeing what's going to happen. And I think Tate now running like 12th and 13th out of a 30-car field that night, in our first time in Thunderstocks. And then Tate got lucky. He finished the race. Me, not so much, because I was the lucky one that had someone spin out in front of him, and that rod didn't take the hit too very well. But it is what it is. But that's definitely like you said with the trailers there, Rob. The behind the cars there, that was we bought that one off of the the one and only Brett Riom when we first started racing. And like, rest in peace to Brett. He definitely helped us a lot along our racing journey. And I can't thank Brett and his family enough for all that they've done and helped us throughout this, because he was just such a great guy that you go to the shop there, and if he didn't have it in the shop, he'd take you over to the back. He'd take you over to his personal shop and say, "What do you need?" And he got something off the shelf for you. And it's just big thank you to Brett, because if Brett wasn't there, we probably wouldn't be here what we're at now. And especially big thank you to Jody Mason. That number 4 car there was Joe Mason's, and he actually told Tate if he could drive it for a few nights there, and it gave us the opportunity to be able to both race some Thunderstocks there for a bit. So definitely had a great time with that, and I just can't thank those guys enough for being able to let us get out there and try something new there for sure.
Awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, there's just if it wasn't for the help of a lot of these people, like Brett Riam and you mentioned Jody Mason, it helped a lot of people out along the way. It takes that, but again, the O'Learys are the kind of people who everybody wants to help. Just a pleasure to be around, and genuinely good guys. So again, I'm glad to have them as my friends. So just keep up the good work. I'll turn it back over to you, Craig.
All right, Caleb. So at some point, because you guys just want to race everything everywhere, you decide you're going to try your hand at demolition derby. Talk about how that went for you. Where did you do the demolition derbies, and how it was for you?
Yeah, so this is actually the Brigden Derby, and so Tate was doing his co-op in school for ER Shepard's Electrical, and so he told me, he's like, you know what, I don't got much going to go right now, so give it a shot. Jump in the truck, see what happens. And so he ended up building that truck for his co-op. And when Dad did the derbies, he was number 911. And he did similar paint jobs as well with that color and everything. So Tate just kind of said, what the heck, let's do it. So we got that truck together during his co-op times, and we helped him kind of finish her up and brought it to Brigden. And I think he got second place in that thing. And the Brigden Derby ain't no joke, too. That's a pretty cool place to go and watch. And it's definitely a lot of destruction some days. And I think we actually had quite the crazy day, because that same day for Brigden Derby, we went and Tate got second place, and as well he got the Mad Dog Award for the hardest hit. And I love telling people this, because the hit was honestly amazing. I kind of wish I had the video. It was really funny, and I always remember it. Is he went probably from the one side of the ring over the next and knocked the back bed off this little F-150 like it was nothing. And the crowd's reaction was honestly hilarious. Like, I couldn't stop laughing just seeing this guy's box just go flying through the air, just off the car like it was nothing. And I know Tate was probably laughing at the same time there too. But it was definitely a crazy day, because after that he won a tool. I think he won a tool set, which really helped, because that went straight into the race car trailer, because we jumped into the stacker and we drove on out to the races that very night and got racing. But then, so that was definitely a busy day for us, I'm pretty sure. And then we've done some more derbies here and there. I once drove to the Dresden Derby with a little Lumina, and we showed up with this little V6 Lumina, and just only one other guy showed up with a V6. So like, you know what? Here you go, $250 in the line. Both of you go in the ring. Last one standing gets the money. So of course we're like, what the heck? Let's go. Let's have some fun. And so I jumped in her and I hit the guy once, and then he was in the middle of the ring, and it was a pretty muddy day. So I'm like, all right, well, let's play a little cat and mouse. So I started driving in a circle thinking it was going to help me. Well, then I realized everyone's yelling at me, and I look, and the guy's stuck in the center, not being on the move, stuck in the mud. And I'm like, well, guess I got to hit him now. So I think I hit the guy maybe 3 or 4 more times, and they called her. That was it. He couldn't go nowhere. So I won my first ever demolition derby, and that was it, because then Tate said, hey, do you mind if I jump in there? So we threw Tate in the Lumina, and he went out and didn't have the best luck. He ended up getting disqualified out of the one, because he ended up hitting this one car he hit. That thing was welded up like a tank, where he hit the back corner and he slid all the way down to the driver door, and they gave him the DQ. So he jumped into another division, and he ended up getting the rear axle knocked out of that thing within the first 5 minutes. But we've had some fun time in the Derby, and a big thanks to Dad for all the help he's done with that, and definitely taught us a lot about the Derby cars and just in cars in general. But if it wasn't for Dad, we probably wouldn't have been at the Derbies either, because that was definitely his bread and butter back in the day as well. But we've definitely had some fun. We were hoping we could have got out of the Brigden Derby or the Dresden Derby this weekend, but didn't get the truck done in time, but hopefully we'll have it at Derby sometime this year, depending. But that's definitely, the derbies are definitely fun to do. And my girlfriend Alex, she's actually been kind of on me now. She kind of wants to go in a derby, so maybe we'll get her out there one day and see what she does. But because I know she can drive, I've seen it. She's been at the Soms there and raced in the mini mod, so I think she can turn the wheel. Let's see if she likes wrecking them or not. And if she likes wrecking them, she might not go back in the mini in the future, but we'll see.
Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, like I think Alex, Caleb's girlfriend, won the powder puff, last powder puff we had last fall as well. So you better be careful. She might end up being a better driver than you. So don't let her into too many race cars, but keep her interested. That's for sure. I don't know how in the world, every time I turned around, you guys always had a different car. You're always doing something else. I don't know where you ever find all the time to do it, but my hat's off to you. You get it done, that's for sure. All right, Craig.
All right, so back to dirt track racing now. We're going to get back to Soms, and you're still in the mini mod class, moving up, getting some experience, different people you're racing with, and people that you have been racing with are moving on to other things. Talk about a little bit more about the mini mod as you're getting more experience. I guess at some point you're going to start running up front, or at least with the leaders. Talk a little bit more about your mini mod racing.
Yeah, so that was definitely, in my opinion, that was my best year in the mini mods, because that picture there was actually Larry Hart and I fighting for second place, which was very common back in that year, because I swear, Larry Hart was probably the toughest guy to race against in that division that year. And I just had so much I asked Larry too. Me and him would be fighting all the time trying to get that number 2 spot, because we were always just fighting for it. And Marshall was, of course, in the front like usual in that division back in that year. But it was a fight between Larry and I for sure. And of course, Bonner and some of those guys were always in there behind us, as long as Fowler. And we were always kind of fighting between the 5 of us there. But Larry and I were always kind of fighting there most of the time. And I believe I really liked racing against Larry that year. And we definitely had a lot of good battles. And that car was pretty cool. We actually designed it the same as Tate's late model. So we had matching cars that year. But so that year, I believe I finished 3rd overall in points. I was about I think it was 5 points off of getting Larry Hart in second there. So we were really close there. And that was probably one of my favorite years in the mini mod. We definitely had a good time in that one. But it was definitely a good fast year, and we were definitely in the top 3 there almost every night, racing against Larry Hart, Marshall, Dylan Bonner, Fowler, all them guys out there nice and fast every night. But I remember I had a lot of good battles with Larry Hart that year, so that was definitely a good fun year for me that year.
Rob, do you have any questions about that?
No, other than that's you're always in the top 5, and you could tell you're getting gaining more confidence and getting to know your equipment a lot better. And that was just fun to watch, both you guys. Okay, Craig.
Are you, Caleb, are you pretty content in the mini mod? You pretty well want to stick around there for a while, or would you ever want to get up into something else at some point? Because I know Tate's done some late model racing and whatever, but are you not really too interested in that? You're pretty well happy with the mini mods?
Mini mods are great. I really enjoy the mini mods. They're a fun, great class, and I urge anyone to get into them, because they're definitely a great, fun class to get into. But I mean, if I'm being completely honest, one day I would love to get into maybe a modified late model, or that's just something. I've taken Tate's modified out for practice, and I gotta say I had a blast in that thing. So that's maybe one day I might try and get into modified once in a while. But I'm definitely in the minis here for next year, a couple more, who knows? But I'm definitely going to be content in the mini here for a bit. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll get in a modified or a late model. No one knows what's going to happen. But I was supposed to drive the late model one year and for a mechanics race, but I don't know if it was the grace of God or it was the hands of Tate that kept me from doing it. But our stacker there, we were out there for mechanics night, and when I went to take the door down, the winch broke and it fell and it took out my knee. So I ended up having to get taken out by the ambulance there and brought to the hospital to get checked out. So I don't know. That's, like I said, I don't know if it was the grace of God or the hand of Tate that kept me from racing the late model that night. But that's where I was hoping to get in the late model, but took out the modified last year. Definitely had a great time with that. But who knows? One day it'll happen. Who knows? But I'm definitely content in the mini here for a bit with that nice fast mini mod with the Mike LeBee motor in there and making her nice and scary fast.
Rob, do you have any questions about that?
No, I just if you're comfortable in that division, nobody says that you have to move up to the modifieds or the late model division. If you're comfortable in that division, by all means, stay and race that division. That is a really good division. Lots of cars and it's just and they are, as I said, they're a real race car. So nothing wrong with that at all. All right, Craig.
All right, so we're just going to keep clicking through your paint schemes here. I think, yeah, so we got the next one coming up here. Same thing, I guess the same type of thing. Talk about how that went for you. The next year you still got some experience. People are moving in and moving out and stuff like that. And how was that for you?
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but just want to touch on that quick before I forget with Rob there. That's definitely a lot of fun guys racing that division. A lot of cool, fun guys. A lot of nice rivalries, friendly rivalries that I've had. And it's just a very fun class. A lot of nice guys to race against, and we're all pretty close knit, and a lot of people willing to help you. But like you said, no one's pushed me to move up except for I gotta shout out the man. I gotta give Mr. Ron Garant a shout out on this because I love Ron. He's helped us a lot along the way, along with Zut there, Garant, and they're like family to us. But I swear, Ron has been telling me to move up to those minis for years now, and I keep on telling him no. I'm happy with the mini, but Ron definitely has been the one voice in the ear trying to tell me to get out of the mini mods. So, but that's, who knows? Maybe I'll make Ron happy one day. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But that's, so yeah, I'll move on to this car here. I definitely loved this car. I really enjoyed this car. The pink was definitely one of my favorite cars, and people have probably seen the picture by now too. I went back to the pink this year, but I really loved that pink and the blue. And Mark from Magnum Signs did a great job in that car as well. And the top picture there, I have to touch on that there. So that was we designed that with Mark, and we had a lot of help from him, and we thank him a lot for the time he put into it. We actually took a checker flag background and put our logo that we designed for our mom, along with a lot of pictures we have from along the way, of pictures of our mom, our grandfather, our great grandparents as well, and a lot of people that we've just lost along the way. We've been able to make a nice tribute for them on top of the cars. So if you ever see one of the cars around, it's on the late model, the mini mod, the super stocks. It's on almost every car we have. So if you ever see one of our cars, stop by and take a look, because we got a lot of nice memoriam on the top there for our family members we've lost along the way. So that's definitely a very touching tribute we were able to get, and it's a big thank you to the people that were able to help us get that done. But no, the mini mods definitely had a great year. That year I actually didn't get to race that much. I don't know if a lot of people knew about this, but I only raced about 3-4 nights maybe. But that year we got about, I think we were about in top 5 in points. We were a consistent top 5 finisher. But we had that was the year that we had the fire, and the SOMS was closed early there, sadly. But I was actually at the Tim Hortons camp, which I'm actually wearing the t-shirt there in the top corner, along with the hat. So I was working at the Tim Hortons camp up in Onondaga Farms, just up at Brantford. Honestly, that was the most amazing experience I've had. I went there as a kid after losing my mom, and we ended up having an amazing time when I was a camper there. And I went the whole 5 years and did the youth leadership program through the Tim Hortons Foundation. I can't thank that organization enough, because it really definitely helped me grow in confidence and as a person, because when I was younger, I used to be a little more shy, not as talkative, and the camp definitely did help me kind of grow in my skin there and really get a lot more talkative. And you'll probably see through the interview, it's going to be a nice long one, because I just like to talk like Mr. Rob Young there. But I definitely, that year was amazing. I went back and was able to work as a counselor and give back to the foundation that really helped me out when I was younger. And it was actually really cool, because when I went back to work there, my boss was actually my counselor that I had the first year I worked at the camp, or went to the camp. So it was really a cool full circle thing. But I was able to come back a few times throughout the year and come race or watch Tate, and I definitely had an amazing year that year. And I wish I could have been able to race more, but I had to say it was really a very great year for me in general, just because I got to take some time away from myself and really kind of grow and find myself and touch a lot of kids' lives. I met a lot of good kids that year, and was able to kind of help a lot of kids that had a similar story as me. So I really had an amazing time that year, and I was working as a trip guide, and I was doing a lot of outdoor camping trips with the kids. So I definitely had a really touching experience that year. So I that was definitely a great year. I loved that car, but I wish I could have raced it more. But it was definitely a great year for me in general with the race car, along with the experience I had with working for the Tim Hortons camps.
Awesome. So you mentioned the fire that Psalms had, and you weren't able to race too much that year. And if my memory serves, I believe the next year COVID hit and the track couldn't open anyway. What kind of stuff did you do for the COVID stuff? What did you do to keep yourself busy? I mean, I know there were spotty races here, there, and everywhere. But iRacing, were you into iRacing at all? What do you do to keep yourself sharp and keep yourself ready to race whenever the COVID pandemic ends?
Yeah, well, the people that are watching aren't going to know this, but before we were on here, my girlfriend was here. Thank God for my girlfriend, Alex, because I cannot work a computer to save my life. So if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be on the computer right now. So I think that's your answer for iRacing. I can't do none of that on the computer. Tate and I, we did a little bit of racing on the Xbox. We played some NASCAR here and there and raced each other once in a while on there. And we had some fun time on that, but really not a whole lot on the computers there. I'm not really tech savvy into that kind of stuff, but I definitely just kept busy working out in the shop, doing stuff here and there. With working at Community Living Walsburg there in the healthcare division with the pandemic going on, it was definitely, we were super understaffed and very, very shorthanded. And it was just like a lot of shifts were out in here there. So I was working a lot that year, keeping busy, just never stopped, had a lot going on. But I definitely kind of sucked not being able to do anything, missed the races and everything. But we made it through, almost in the clear here. So hopefully we're done with that. But definitely just kept busy working full time there. And I honestly, it worked out great for me. I was really able to make some good connections that year through that COVID time with my work. I was able to work with a lot of good individuals at through Community Walsburg that I work at. And I love working at the place. It's great. And it kind of gave me some good time to meet a lot of individuals through the agency and kind of grow as a worker there and really get to explore more in the working there in that division.
Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, I see, and I know this, I've seen it in Caleb for the years I've known him. Both he and Tate have a big heart when it comes to people with disabilities or challenged individuals, or in Caleb's case where he's a DSW, he works for Community Living. And I know that if we don't get to this, I think it might be on your agenda here, Craig, but I know that they've done all kinds of charitable things. They both grew their hair long, cut it for cancer. I think the world of these boys, and they want to give back to the community or back to challenged individuals. And it's too bad that there weren't a lot more younger people like that who weren't always thinking about what they could get out of something, but how can they give back? And that is a good trait to have, Caleb. Both you and Tate have that. So again, it's just keep up the good work. So I'll turn it back over to Craig.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna talk about the charitable stuff a little bit later on. But coming out of the pandemic, 2020 or 21 or whatever, but about ready to get back to racing finally. You go back. I mean, the season started late, but you get back out there. What was it like getting back out on the track? Were you rusty? Did it take a few laps to kind of shake the cobwebs loose, or were you ready to go right from the go?
No, I was pretty lucky because we were able to get out for practice before back in the 2020 near the end there. Henry was able to open up there, so we were able to do a little bit of practice near the end of the year. So I was able to shake some stuff out. We had the car ready, so I was able to kind of shake some of the skeletons loose and get loose. So I was really comfortable when I was able to get out for the opening night. Didn't really have any issues, felt all right. So really didn't really have to do much. Just kind of had the car ready and the skeletons already out of the closet there, that's for sure. But that's we were able to actually try some new stuff when we went to practice. Tate and I bought a little S10 pickup truck for the mini stock. So we were able to kind of shake that loose, have some fun with that. Tate drove for a couple of races back last season there, but we ended up selling that to Jake Blake and mini stocks out of Walsburg there. He's had some good races with that thing, but we definitely got to shake that loose a little bit and kind of had a little feeling for everything and kind of see how everything goes. But yeah, we were all ready to go for last season there after we got some got some of that loosened out when we were able to kind of shake our arms off when we were at the track.
Excellent. And now the 2022 season, are you ready to go? What's going on for the 2022 season? What's the plan? You coming out to Soms for the season? Or are you going to look at doing a little bit of traveling around if there's any races where you can go to? What's 2022 looking like for you?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go race out at the Down Under Speedway in Australia. No, I'm just kidding. I ain't doing that. I don't got the money for that. But no, I'll be back out at Soms this season. No, I don't got no money for that. No, that's not gonna happen. But that would be pretty cool to do that. But no, I'll be back out at Soms this season with the mini mod there. Back the 2021 season had a great season overall, but I'll be back out to 2022 this year with the pink mini mod there, the fluorescent pink. Big thank you to Simply Vinyl and all of our sponsors this year for getting that on there. I think it looks amazing. That's pretty happy with how it turned out, but that's definitely had a great year in 2021 though as well, but that's hopefully 2022 looks out just as good.
Awesome. Well, we would definitely wish you the best.
Hopefully
of luck.
Better. We'll see.
2022 season. Rob, do you have any questions about that before we move on to the charitable stuff?
Nope. That's a pretty cool looking race car. And, every year they get better and better. So I can't wait to see that on the track this year.
Yeah, it is a sharp looking
Yeah,
car.
hopefully she looks good. Yeah. If we could go back to that one last race car there, the purple one there, just for a second, just so I could talk about that for a second there. I really liked that car. We actually did a tribute there for Russell Woods there that raced the track, and kind of looked a lot like his car, and we thought it would kind of look all right. And we've been known to do a little bit of tribute cars here and there. Tate's late model, we did more on Tate's cars. We did a late model for Eugene Hoekstra there, and we did a Thunderstock for Michelle's dad, John Reynolds. So we've done some cool stuff here and there, and we thought it'd be kind of an all right tribute to do for him. And we also did it this year with the pink mini mod there for Eugene with kind of his car. Went my own way, but it looks a little bit like Eugene, so I thought it was funny. But I had a great year in the mini mod this year. Definitely had a lot of fun. Kind of stuck having a little late season, a little late start, but we definitely made the best of it. Got my first feature win with the mini mod, so definitely that was amazing. So big thank you to Tate, Dad, Jeff T-Bear, Dan O'Neill, my girlfriend Alex for being there to help out, and anyone else I was able to help out, especially Michelle Mansell, Elmira, Zut, Ron Garant, and like Eugene Hoekstra, Kathy, everyone. So big thank you to all them. And as well in the corner there, that's my girlfriend Alex. She ended up going out and kicked some butt in the powder puffs. So I'm very proud of her for doing that. And she actually just learned how to drive stick shift the night before. So she did pretty awesome to go out there and win that race there. So we were pretty proud that she was able to go kick some butt. But like Rob said, hopefully we can limit the checker flags, not by too much, but hopefully I can get some more under my belt before she gets some, because I don't want to lose that ride anytime soon. But definitely had a great year. I think we were in the top 5 there almost every night and got top 5 in points. So we're pretty happy with how the season turned out. But we'll see. Hopefully we can keep the momentum going, be nice and fast this season with that pink car. But definitely a big thank you to everyone that was able to help us out last year with that car. And I looked pretty awesome, but I think this year is going to look even better. Hopefully we'll see.
Awesome. All right, so now on to the finer stuff from life. We're going on to the charity things, and I know that you and your brother, you guys do all kinds of charitable things that you like to do all the time. Talk about all the things you try to support and all the things that you try to do.
Yeah, no, we've done a lot in the past. There's definitely been something. That picture, there's some scary pictures there, that's for sure. Hopefully the picture that's talking to you right now looks a lot better than the ones that are on there. But so that's the first one there. That's Danielle Simpson. So that's Brad Simpson's wife. She's definitely helped us a lot out through the years with us being close to Brad back in when we first started racing. So I grew my hair out to about, I want to say it was probably almost 10, 12 inches. Tate's was almost probably 16. Dad's was about 16. Like they had some long hair. So we donated that hair to the Cancer Society that year. And it went really proud of how that went, and thank you to everyone for donating to the cause that year. And cancer is definitely a big subject to us after our grandpa Joe passed away from cancer there back in 2012. So definitely that was a great fundraiser able to do, and we've tried to do it at least every little while. We did one for Lily Herreggers there, Marshall's niece there. And so we met Lily just through kind of Marshall and through the family. We've known her family for a little while now, and that's really love her family. They're a great family there. And Lily is just an absolute sweetheart. I don't have a picture of what we did because that was on Tate's car, but we did a fundraiser for her as well. She was battling Turner syndrome there, which is a syndrome that affects young girls with their hormones and everything like that. So we were able to have a fundraiser we did with the late model there. And so we did a pretty awesome time with that, and we helped raise some money for her. And then the last one there, that's a pretty scary looking one. I did a fundraiser for a young little guy that I really look up to. His name is Seth Notley. I actually did a co-op at my old elementary school, and he was there. And he's a young little ginger guy. He's quite a character. He's pretty loud and spunky, and I really like the kid. And he's definitely a good kid. We've known his family for a while as well. And he actually suffered a heart attack on the playground one year. Or actually last year, to speak of it, during school, and thank God they were able to keep him alive and well. And he was definitely a fighter. He was keeping it going, and so I decided that I was going to do a fundraiser for the little guy, and I took donations and said the highest donation gets to choose how my hair looks. And it turned out that the highest bidder was generous enough to let Seth choose what my hair looked like. Raised almost $1,300 for Seth in the Ronald McDonald House. And so we ended up actually turning it into something nice and beautiful there that came on my head. Seth decided that he wanted me to go to a blonde mohawk. He had a mohawk, so it looked pretty awesome. We looked pretty cool together. We had him out to the shop, and I actually had a Seth sticker on the car last year that was a heart with his heartbeat written in it with his name. And we had that in the car, and it was definitely a great cause I was happy to have last year because he's just a great family, great kid, and we're definitely happy to see him walking around healthy and talking for sure. He's quite the kid. We have a talk with him every once in a while, and he's definitely doing great. But I was happy to do some fundraisers like that. And we always try and do something. It's definitely something we got to give back and do, and I hope more people can hopefully do it. I know it's tough and there's a lot to go into it, but it definitely works out in the end. And it's great that the Psalms is doing the canned food drive this year. That's great to see people always giving back and doing stuff, but we're always happy to do fundraisers and give back to the community. So we're really happy with what we've been able to do in the past year for sure.
Yep, awesome. And if you guys are going to do any fundraisers this year, or if you have any fundraisers coming up, let me know, and we'll make sure that we get all the fans and the fan zone and everybody involved, and we'll do whatever we can to help you guys out because you guys do amazing work, and we're all very proud at the track of what you guys do, because a lot of us, we just take some things for granted. You don't always, you're out at the racetrack, and unfortunately, not everything is always on your mind, and we rely on people like you that you give us that subtle reminder that, hey, other people need help and stuff like that. So like I said, if whatever you guys do, just make sure I know about it or Angela knows about it, and we'll get it out there and we'll blow it up and make sure we help you guys out for sure.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's just if you get the time, if you have something, just have a thought, do something charitable. There's always people that help out, and there's nothing helping people out, that's for sure. But thank you for saying that. We'll definitely try and next time we do something, we'll put that out there. But I wanted to announce too that we did a raffle this year through our Facebook page. And it went amazing. We had 3 winners that got some great prizes that were given to us through our sponsors this year. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be donating some of the proceeds that we got through our raffle towards the Psalms fan zone this year. So once we get to the track there, I'll try and get that donation out to them. But we're going to be putting a little bit of our winnings there, not our winnings, but some of our proceeds from a raffle towards the Psalms fan zone for sure this year.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. We really, really appreciate that. That's absolutely amazing. I mean, we have a lot of fun with the fan zone. We know you guys love it and everything like that, and we really appreciate all the help we can get. So thank you very much for that. Now, Rob, do you have any questions about that before we move on?
No, you're doing a fine job. Keep up the good work.
All right. So now, sponsors, the people that help you out, help you get to the track, every week. Who would you like to thank that helps you out?
This is going to be a long list. A lot of people are pretty impressed with the amount of sponsors we have, and I can't thank our sponsors and everyone enough for how much they do. We have so many people that help us, and it's just really, if it wasn't for sponsors, we wouldn't be out there. Ask any race car driver. Everyone's got one. They're always there to help. and we really can't thank them enough. We've got a lot. I got as many as I could on there for today, but I'll make sure to list them all off here. But we've got Countryside Kennel and Chatham Kent Cougars and the Enviro Clean Car and Dog Wash. And Bartek, big thank you for all them. They're all the new sponsors that are coming on this year, and very happy to have them on. Like we've known the Cougars and the Car and Dog Wash for years. I've known Dee through the Cougars Foundation when I played football there for Sell. And honestly, that place, it did affect me when I was younger. The Cougars, and a great program. If a kid ever wants to get into football, make sure to shoot them a message because it's definitely an awesome program. And I'll keep moving here. We got the Elliott Group Napa Auto Parts. They've been there for a while for us. The ER Shepens Electrical, Missioner Auto Body and Paint, Bartek, Select Finishings, Sean's Garage. And I got all my other ones written here. I got M. Legui Racing Engines, Sean's Garage, I got Steven Seeds, High Fluid Products, Fastenal, Bill's International Pizza, Black Goose, Enviro Clean Car and Dog Wash, Fedis Fabrications, MK Racing, Atkinson Motorsports, Stubby Goat, Okie Dokie Apparel, Simply Vinyl, GZR Motorsports. I got a lot here. O'Neill Tire and Battery, Great Canadian Oil Change, Ridge Farms, 99.1, MFI Trucking, Parts and Small Engine, Dr. Mark Dickerson Family Dentist, Pretty Road Farm Co. Store, Sugar Shack, PJ Welding, Digger Wright, Westside Performance, Bob's Motorsports, and New Vision Optical, and especially Michelle Mansell and a lot of our good friends that have been able to help us out along the way. But that's all of our sponsors. We've got a lot of people that help along behind the scenes too. So I definitely have to give a shout out towards my dad. If it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be out here. I probably wouldn't be alive without my dad too as well, but definitely a big thank you towards my dad and especially my mom and my grandparents and everyone that's been able to help me mold me into the man I am today, and definitely had me out at the racetrack as well. Tate as well. I can't thank Tate enough. My little brother, my best friend, I really can't help him enough. He's always there to help and work on the race cars and whatever we need to do. Dan O'Neill, another guy I wouldn't be at the racetrack without. He's definitely been a great friend of mine. It's helped me out all the way from football to racing this year. My girlfriend Alex as well. She's always been there to help no matter what. Jay Walters, Michelle Mansell, always there to help me with my helmets, do some get some baked goods, as well as Zut and Ron, always there to help us get some baked goods, and Ron to whisper some stuff in my ears, whether it's good or bad. As well, Eugene Hookshaw Racing and Kathy, they've always been there to help us. Rob Young Racing, they've always been there, as well as Jake Hooker Motorsports. Jay Walters also, I can't thank him enough. He's helped us a lot with the race cars. And there's just so many people like Duke, Jen, Mila, Bray, all of them have helped us along the way. And I just can't thank everyone enough. Jeff T-Bear. And there's just so many people that have been able to help us along the way, but I can't thank anyone enough to be there. Like MK Racing, that's Mario Toniolo. I can't thank them enough for all they've done. And just thank you to everyone out there that has been able to help us along the way for sure.
Awesome. And if the fans want to help you out, you guys have some swag or some stuff that you sell if they want to support you guys?
Yeah, I actually got it right here. We've got our T-shirts in. They just came in recently here. That's our T-shirts for the year. We've got them. So if you want a T-shirt, make sure to give me a shout or even come see me at the racetrack, and we'll get some T-shirts out there. Got all of our sponsors on the back too, so make sure to go support our sponsors and tell them we sent you. They're definitely they're on there for a reason. They're all great people, and they've always been there to help us. So we can't thank our sponsors enough. But definitely, if you want a T-shirt, give me a call, give me a text. We're on Facebook at O'Leary Brother Racing, so give us a follow. We've got lots of members, but we're always inviting more people to get on there. So make sure to give us a follow and give me a text if you want a T-shirt. Our T-shirts are $20 a piece. We have sweaters for $40 a piece right now as well. They're hoodies. They're all great T-shirts, and we can't thank everyone enough for supporting us and being there to help us out. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Rob, do you have any more questions for Caleb O'Leary?
Caleb's just about said it all, but both Tate and Caleb, and I've said this before about Vic and how he's raised two amazing young men, and I know that the rest of your family are all instrumental in that too. But we can all take notes from Vic on the great job he's done, and as far as all your sponsors are concerned, I can guarantee you that they all want to be a part of helping your organization or your team. You're just two wonderful young guys that make us all happy to be involved in stock car racing at the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. So I can't wait to get back to the track and see you guys and share some more stories. So keep up the good work, Caleb. You're doing a great job. And I know you and Alex is back there too. She's doing a great job. But just keep doing what you're doing. All right, Craig, I'll turn it back over to you.
I don't have any more questions for you, Caleb. You got anything else you want to spiel out here before we let you off?
No, yeah, I'm sure there's a few little things. I know I've definitely talked everyone's ear off tonight. I know I'm a very talkative guy, and I just want to put it out there. If anyone wants to stop by the trailer at the end of the races, we're always there. Nice big trailer. We got a nice sleeper cab on the back of the Max Semi now, so we might be having a little more overnight trips once in a while here and there. But that's if you ever want to come by and talk, I'm always going to be open to talk with you. We've got T-shirts, got everything we need, and we'll have some hero cards too. So don't be afraid to stop by, say hello. We're more than happy to talk to people. And just thank you everyone supporting us. And I also got to give a shout out to Atkinson Motorsports. I think I've already talked about them a little bit there during the sponsor reel, but that's if it wasn't for Randy at Atkinson Motorsports, he helped us reclip the front of the mini mod this year. I meant to touch on that a little bit, but we definitely the mini mod. We had a little rough year last year with some hits here and there, and it was bending a little bit. So Randy was able to help us get that front end fixed up, and it's looking pretty beautiful now. We've got pictures on our Facebook of it. So Randy did an amazing job, and I got to thank Atkinson Motorsports a lot for helping us with that. And definitely got to give a shout out to my Aunt Terry Ann. I call her Aunt TT. She's I don't know if you guys have met her. She's out to the racetrack almost every weekend. She has a disability, and that's where I've definitely learned a lot of caring for people with disabilities through my grandparents and my dad with my Aunt Terry Ann. And she's definitely been there for me a lot of my life, and I can't say thank you enough to her and my family, and I definitely love her. She's number one fan. She might be fighting with Alex for that now, who knows, but she's definitely awesome. I gotta give a thank you to her because I know she'll be watching this probably once she gets to the end here. I know it's going to be a long interview, but I gotta give a thank you to her. She's always there at the racetrack yelling and screaming, telling me all the moves to make, but it's definitely a big thank you to my family and everyone that's been able to help me out. And I forgot you. I'm sorry. You're on my hearts, and I thank everyone for being able to help me out and get me out there. Like I said, if you're at the racetrack, come on out and say hi. And also, I want to say to all my competitors this year and all the race car drivers, good luck. And also, big thank you to Craig Smollers and Rob Young for all the help you've done with the racetrack, along with Angela and especially everyone, Ron Garant, everyone that's been helping with the track and get it ready for this year. It definitely means a lot for us to get it to the racetrack. And I can't wait to get out there. A lot of good guys to race against in the mini mods. Can't wait to get out there against Bertuzzi and Bonners and Pickering. And there's a lot of good guys that can't wait to race against this year. So hopefully we get out there soon. And hopefully everyone that recognizes that pink once either they're from the stands or if my competitors see me while I pass them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Caleb, we really appreciate you jumping on here with us. You've shared a lot of information, which we really appreciate. We know the fans love to hear the stories. They don't want to hear my stories. They want to hear your stories. So when you guys come on here and talk that much, we really appreciate it. And we really appreciate you jumping on here with us, taking a few minutes and giving us a few minutes of your time. And we wish you nothing but the best of luck in your 2022 season and the 28K Mini Mod at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Craig. Thank you, Rob.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Caleb. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks, you too.
See ya. All right, Robert, there we go. Now we know a lot more about Caleb O'Leary. We heard Tate's story. Now we heard the other half of that story from Caleb, and we know a lot more information about him. And what an amazing family they are. They're so great to talk to. It doesn't matter where you see them. You know, you do a video like this or see them at the track, they're always going to take the time to say hi and chat. They always have the time to chat, no matter how long you want to chat to them for.
Yeah, and you know, as he did step in as our announcer, and I think he's in some announcing somewhere else as well. But he's very entertaining, and if he does decide to give up racing stock cars, and although we have a great announcer coming on board this year, but he's the kind of guy you can call on at the drop of a hat, and he come and help out. So, but really a good family. Glad to have those guys part of the SOMS family.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Well, fans, we thank you very much for joining us on SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. That's been Caleb O'Leary. Next week, we're going to be talking to somebody that's a little bit older than Caleb O'Leary. Next week, we have Thunderstock driver Steve Shaw joining us. That's going to be Steve Shaw Sr. So he's going to have a lot of stories to share with us, I'm sure, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure that you did a lot of racing with him back in the day, Rob. So you probably
Yep.
could probably share some stories and
Yep.
and stuff like that. So you looking forward to that one?
Oh yeah, he was when I first came back to Buxton and started racing. He was a guy to he sort of set the bar. And if you could race with Steve Shaw, you were really doing something. So he taught me a lot of things, and so it'd be really good to talk to him next week.
Yep, for sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much for joining us on SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. My name is Craig Smulders. That's Rob Young. Enjoy the rest of your night. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.